The Broncos are in, Bengals, Dolphins out. The Buccaneers are in, the Falcons out. And the Lions last night, thanks to their defense, have the number 1 seed in the NFC. That was the big surprise last night. I knew the Lions would score. The question is, how many would they let the Vikings score? And they shut them down. They did a great job. And Chris Collinsworth kind of hinted at this. This is where you hear something in a production meeting on Friday or Saturday where maybe Aaron Glenn, the defensive coordinator for the Lions, says, hey, we're bringing some heat. We're going to go after Sam Darnold. We're going to make him uncomfortable. You can't just sit back and let him have time because their receivers are too good. Because, Collinsworth said that at the beginning. He thought they were going to go after Sam Darnold, and they did. And they had 10 quarterback hits last night. I was listening to Dan Orlovsky on ESPN radio earlier, and he said he thought that Sam Darnold left 5 touchdown passes out there on the field. So the Lions did get the win. They got the number 1 seed. You got an extra week with your players. Certainly that defense has been banged up, but give credit to that defense because they did put a lot of pressure on Sam Darnold. All right, Seton, what's poll questions start out the first hour?
We got a couple of more surprising poll questions.
Okay.
More surprising. This is from Paulie. More surprising. Broncos are in the playoffs or the Bengals are not.
Well, okay, I'm going to go back week 1. And what did we say after the Bengals lost to the Patriots? I said there's every team, those teams that don't make the playoffs, you can usually go back to one game and go, that one's going to hurt you. And that's what I said. After they lost to the Patriots, I said on that Monday. And you're the Bengals. You're not Tom Brady's Patriots where you can use the first month of the season as the preseason. This is the problem. They treated that game like it was a preseason. And the Patriots beating the Bengals in Cincinnati. But if you're going to lose your first 3 games, look, would I love to see the Bengals in? Yes, I would. But they didn't deserve to be in. They played great. At the end of the regular season, if this was college, we'd probably look at them like South Carolina. Man, they're on a roll. You don't want to face them. Well, this isn't college. You lose your first 3. You let the Patriots beat you in Cincinnati. I would love to have had the Bengals in just aesthetically to watch them play, and Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase. But Denver played better, more consistent. The defense was good. Bo Nix did a great job, and Sean Payton reclaimed his status as one of the great coaches in the game. But, yeah, Denver, to me, was a better team. Cincinnati might have been a better story just for the overall picture of I don't think anybody's saying, man, you don't want to face the Broncos. I would say that. I mean, defense travels. This is a good, solid team. Now, did the Chiefs basically roll over? Yes, they did. But I think they were a consistent team, a good team. Patrick Surtain is, maybe steals the Defensive Player of the Year award. And Bo Nix played really well. But, that's one of those where, hey, Buffalo, man, they get Denver. Well, I don't know when you get to this point, it's one game. Are the Bills better than Denver? Yes, but it's one game. And that's all you're asking for. Give me a little bit of magic here. Fritzy, congratulations. Your Broncos are going to the playoffs.
How about that? 38-0 against all the backups. Not too bad.
Yeah.
Are we convinced that the Bengals would have a much better chance at beating the Bills than Denver? Are we comfortable saying that I wish it was the Bengals because that'll be a better game and Denver's going to get rolled? Is that what the average person thinks?
I don't know. Why don't you go around and ask the average person?
I think I'm going to take a poll outside. I'm going to do a kind of walk around with a microphone.
We have a lot of average people in here. Just ask everybody.
The poll question is, who would you rather have in the playoffs, the Bengals or the Broncos? Is that the question?
Yeah, I think a lot of people...
Who's more threatening?
Right, which would be a more competitive
Well, the Bengals
game.
are more threatening. It's only because they have Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. So you got the leading pass. When's the last time you had the leading passer, yardage-wise, passing touchdowns? You had, I think, the leading sack guy, and you had a receiver win the Triple Crown. So Trey Hendrickson, I think, he had 15 sacks this year. What was it, Paulie?
He finished with 17 and a half.
Okay. So 17 and a half. Quietly, 17 and a half. And then you have Joe Burrow and you have Jamar Chase, and then you throw in T. Higgins. That's exciting. Denver doesn't have that. I mean, that offense doesn't blow you away with name recognition, but I don't think Sean Payton cares about that. And, I got to factor in Sean Payton with his ability to coach as well. Yes, Todd.
No, you got to love Benito and Surtain, and then you got Vele out of the blue is doing some stuff with Sutton. They got some weapons there. I didn't love the fact that they blew.
Those guys are on defense.
I'm just talking about in general as far as people that are like, oh, the Bengals.
I know, but I was talking about offense.
Fair enough.
I was talking about Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase, the firepower.
I got
T.
Broncos
Higgins.
in my mind, shockingly.
You don't usually refer to defensive players as weapons, I think.
When you don't have weapons on offense, you got weapons on defense.
Yeah, I just don't like the narrative because we love the word
The narrative.
That, Cincinnati, Buffalo would have been great. This is going to be a blowout. Forget this. Might as well put the Bills into the digital playoff.
Wait. What are we doing right now? We're not going to do this. Nobody wants us. Nobody believed in us. No, we're not doing that.
Can't do that?
No. Are you calling for the win in Buffalo?
You know what? You put me on the spot. The Bills should win that game. They should win comfortably. But
wait, you don't
does it have to be
believe
a pie in the face? I believe the Broncos. In one game, anything is possible. Buffalo should win that game by like 10 points.
We know it's possible because they're in the game. You know what's not possible? The Bengals can't beat the Bills.
I just checked.
Yes, they can't beat them. Yes, Paulie.
The Bills are giving 9 to the Broncos. I could check with Vegas on what the line would have been if the Bengals were in the game.
I'd be curious about that.
Yeah, Bengals would probably be 5-point underdog, maybe something like that. But are we or they?
We are definitely we.
Okay, all right. Well, congratulations. It was a very good year.
After they lost to the Chargers and Bengals, it was more they. But then after what happened yesterday, we're back to we.
And you're not a front runner. By the way, 141 games were decided by 7 points or less. That's tied with 2022, the most in a season in NFL history.
Woo! Ow! Stat of the day! Stat of the day! Stat of the day! Stat of the day! This is the stat of the day!
Brought to you by Panini America, the official trading cards of the Dan Patrick Show. Lamar Jackson finished with 41 touchdown passes, 4 interceptions. That's never happened before in NFL history, at least 40 and fewer than 5 interceptions, and he may not win the MVP. The Lions, they were extremely balanced, but not as balanced as the Bills. They're the first team to have at least 30 passing touchdowns and at least 30 rushing touchdowns in the same season. Never happened before. The Lions were 1 rushing touchdown short of becoming the second team to do so. I look at the Lions, you want to talk about being all in because you're going to lose probably both your coordinators. Aaron Glenn, defensive coordinator, Ben Johnson, offensive coordinator. You're all in. I talk about these windows of opportunity, like San Francisco's window. It might have closed. And it felt like it's wide open. You got Mr. Irrelevant with that contract. You're signing everybody. You're keeping everybody. Brandon Ayuk. You got McCaffrey, Debo, Trent Williams. You got it, Bosa. Everything's going to work. You got a great coach, GM, and then maybe you don't. And this is where you get that 3 to 4 year run. And then all of a sudden it starts to slip away. Detroit, this is the year. This is the year considering everything you have. Now, I also look at this team that you got Hutchinson coming back. Jahmyr Gibbs is wonderful on a rookie contract. You got Montgomery coming back. Goff is signed. Amon-Ra St. Brown is signed. You got a good tight end. You got a culture there with Dan Campbell. So this should extend for a couple of seasons. Should. And then you got Buffalo that I thought their window of opportunity closed. And now it just feels like this is a true solid starless team except for, the quarterback there. And I think that's been a benefit for them. They had 2 Pro Bowl players. I think that's a true testament to a team playing great football. Yes, Marv.
And I think for a franchise like the Lions, all you need is 1 Super Bowl title. You don't need to go on a 2-3 year run. All you need is 1.
Yeah, like the Cubs. You win, all of a sudden it's like You've changed the entire national outlook or viewpoint of the Lions. You've changed everything. Now it's not, hey, I'm a Lions fan. It's, I'm a Lions fan. All it takes is one. All righty. So is that the poll question? Who would be more threatening in the playoff seat in the Broncos or the Bengals?
Yeah, we could do who would be more threatening. I kind of like who would you want, but yeah, there's definitely going to be a Broncos versus Bengals poll question for sure.
But I don't want you, oh, woe is me, nobody thought we'd be here, Todd. We can't do that because it's a great story. You didn't think they would be here, so you can't go, nobody's giving us a chance.
That's fair. And most people thought they'd win 4, 5, 6 games max with a rookie quarterback.
They played great. That defense was really good. And yes, did the Chiefs roll over? They did. But, I wouldn't have put it out of the realm of possibility that the Broncos would have beaten the Chiefs if they wanted to or tried to win that game. Yes, Heaton.
So just so we're clear, Todd also thought that they wouldn't be there this year. And while he doesn't like the narrative that we should just advance the Bills to the next round, he too thinks the Bills are going to win.
Yes.
Despite the fact that he doesn't like that narrative.
Yes.
That you should give the Broncos a chance. He thinks the Bills are going to advance.
I think the narrative is that they're going to get blown out, and it's hard to predict the Broncos to win that game, but I think they'll keep it competitive.
Okay, but you just were saying that nobody thought you guys could be there. Nobody's giving you a chance. They'd rather have the Bengals. So you're feeding into all of this.
Because I and many saw something in the Broncos that we didn't think we would see during the course of the season. Who would think that Bo Nix would have that kind of
composure? No, but you don't think they're... No, you don't think
I think they have a chance to win. But if I had to bet $1 million on it or something,
well, they have a chance because they're playing the game.
In one game, anything could happen. They almost beat the Chiefs and Mahomes, the great Chiefs team trying to win 3 Super Bowls in a row. A blocked field goal in the last second is the only reason.
Todd, you're the one underselling the Broncos.
I don't like that other people are underselling the Broncos. They're all bummed that the Bengals game would have been a lot better. Who wants to see Knicks?
And it would have been. It would have been more interesting to have Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase in there.
Maybe interesting, but not necessarily more competitive because it's the Bengals.
Make up your mind if you're all in that you're going to win the game.
Broncos are going to beat the Bills.
Okay, thank you.
27-23.
It took me 14 minutes to get there.
27-23. Writing this down.
The Bills should be 10.5-point favorite.
Yes, Marvin.
That was a lot for the first segment. Forgive me.
Yeah. I can't work this hard, Todd. Not to start the week.
It's a lot, I know.
Yeah, I know.
It's only 15 minutes into Monday.
What?
Full week Monday, Todd.
I know. Are we going to hear this all week long leading up to? Okay.
I'll settle down.
All right, thank you. Aaron Rodgers had 4 touchdown passes. He's the 5th player in NFL history with at least 500 career regular season touchdown passes. And second fastest to reach 500, only Peyton Manning got there faster. As far as Aaron Rodgers playing next season,
In your heart of hearts, do you think he'll be back with the Jets?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I honestly don't know, Rich. If I did, I don't know that I'd tell you. So I will say that out of respect. But truthfully, I don't know. I'm looking forward to those conversations with Woody and Christopher and Jaime and Phil and anybody else. You know, it feels good to be able to do some of the things the last 5 or 6 weeks I know I was capable of doing, even at 40, 41. You know, either way, I won't be upset or offended, whatever they decide to do if they want to move on, if I still want to play. And if not, I'll let them know at some point if that's the case.
Okay, I think the Jets will move on. If they're going to try to bring in a legitimate head coach, that head coach doesn't want to walk into this situation. I wouldn't. Now, you might find somebody who's willing to do it because they want to get the job. Aaron Glenn, the defensive coordinator with the Jets, I don't know if he's going to go, hey, I'll take the job, but I don't want Aaron Rodgers. And it's weird to say you don't want Aaron Rodgers, but there's so much more that goes along with Aaron Rodgers. And if I'm coming in to take over the Jets, that's already a mountainous, prospect of trying to turn them around. I mean, that's systemic. It's just been a horrible organization. All right, I need to hit the ground running. I can't be like, am I allowed to run? Am I walking? Am I crawling? Am I stuck in neutral? And you might have those feelings with Aaron Rodgers. If I would have told you back in August, Aaron Rodgers, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herbert, and Jordan Love would throw fewer touchdown passes than Bo Nix, you would have made a lot of money. But that happened. Bo Nix had more touchdown passes than those quarterbacks. So you got Rodgers, Allen, Mahomes, all Hall of Famers. Justin Herbert and Jordan Love, who knows? But Bo Nix had more touchdown passes. All right, we'll get to phone calls coming up. You know, the Dolphins situation is a mess. We know the Jets situation is always a mess. The Dolphins situation, you know, they were a playoff team last year. Tua had a pretty good start as far as, you know, people saying, all right, if they get weapons and they stay healthy and you hold your breath that he doesn't get another concussion, they can be dangerous in the playoffs. Well, they didn't get to the playoffs. They lost yesterday. And at one point, Tyreek Hill wanted out of the lineup. And now there was some back and forth after the game. Did he want out? Did his coach take him out? And they needed to get their story straight. Here's Tyreek Hill.
As I'm opening the door, like, I'm out, bro. You know, so it was great playing here, but, you know, at the end of the day, bro, I got to do what's best for my career and, you know, because I'm too much of a competitor to be, you know, just out there.
Okay. It sounds like quite the team player. Yeah, I'm a competitor. You're a competitor for you. You know what? You had this opportunity. They featured you, and now you won out. Here is the head coach of the Dolphins, Mike McDaniel.
I'm not going to put too much weight on secondhand post-game disappointment statements, and we'll see how, you know, the next couple of days progress with those conversations with him and I.
Yeah, I'd shop him. See what you can get. Get him off the books. Can you get something back? What can you get back for him? Talented guy, but it feels like sometimes the second coming of Antonio Brown, where it feels like it's about him. Now, he's not where Antonio Brown was. Hopefully nobody gets there. But Tyreek Hill still has some mileage. The question is, what are you willing to give up? And it might be one of those addition by subtractions, which sounds pretty bizarre given his status. I mean, there are times when I watch, he is uncoverable. He's unstoppable. But he's a guy that feels like you got to constantly be nurturing him. And it's tough enough to be a head coach, offensive coordinator. Mike McDaniel, you just can't go into each game, worried about somebody's perspective, team goals. Because Antonio Brown, we saw him, I mean, maybe he goes to the Hall of Fame. Like, he had a 5 or 6 year run that was just unbelievable. But he was just selfish, but that kind of goes along with the territory there. Tyreek Hill sounds like he's going to be with another team next year.